Good afternoon and welcome to the Essential HR Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Gorman. I'm here with Pete Owsianowski and Mike Niedbalski from Integritas Search. And today we're going to discuss the job market here in Michiana and kind of what they're seeing here in the industry when it comes to the pandemic and what it's done to their industry and some of the trends we've seen and they've seen in the industry. So welcome, guys. It's great to see both of you.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Appreciate you having us on.
No, absolutely. Wanted to kind of start with a couple questions here. What are you guys, and maybe we can go back in pre-pandemic, what did you guys see the job market looking like, and maybe what were you experiencing, back, say, January of this year?
Boy, it was strong, Brian. We came out of the fourth quarter and the holidays, which is typical. The holidays are very busy for us. We're usually putting offers together for candidates around Christmas timeframe so that companies can get people on board right away in January, especially for some key roles like controller roles where they want somebody on board at the beginning of a new year. And so fourth quarter going right into January, February, it was solid.
We just rolled right through.
Yeah.
Generally, there'll be a little bit of a lull, after the first of the year, sort of people gathering their breath, for that first quarter push, but we just rolled right through, and a lot of I don't want to sound hierarchical, but mid-level placements. Some our specialties are accounting and human resource, and some controller type roles, some staff accountant type roles, and human resource generalist type roles. But there was more than enough to keep us busy, and to keep our whole team busy too. And maybe some background on that: we have a recruiter, Erica Staszewski, who joined us in 2016.
3 years ago,
yeah.
I think, 4 years ago.
And her husband is a aerospace manager, a plant manager, and he's now a general manager of an entire plant down in Florida. So they relocated, but due to the top echelon network that we're members of, she is very easy to, it's just like she's here anyway. She's worked remotely. She was impacted the least on all this.
Yeah, because we weren't used to all this Zoom stuff before it hit. She was very accustomed to working virtually.
And very effective also. From being from Florida, you really wouldn't even know it by her communications and her style and the way she moves things forward. So she's been busy too. So
we have a fourth recruiter, more part-time, kind of an associate recruiter, Ryan, on our team too. And then we have some admin support. And so we have a solid team and everybody's keeping busy.
Oh, fantastic. And I know the biggest changes, and Pete, you probably know this too, is just you're so used to seeing people face to face, and we're so used to meeting at coffee shops and going into organizations and having appointments and running, demos, presentations. And, besides was Zoom like adapting to that change probably the biggest change you guys noticed? Or what were some of the other changes that, if you go to fast forward now to March, that you guys experienced? Like maybe walk through what that was like when you found out, this is going on, and we're going to have to really pivot on what we do day to day.
I think that's the biggest is Zoom. And Mike and I we're kind of like golden retrievers, man. We get around people and our tails start wagging, and, we just love being out. We get so many great referrals from people that, we see on the street. We're right downtown here, 5 floors above the Chicory Cafe. We're members of the Health and Lifestyle Gym over there.
That was the biggest adjustment.
Yeah, huge. We walk down the street to Rotary. We go down, get our caffeine fix at Chicory, or go to Peg's for a breakfast. And it was huge to have that just, swept out from under you almost 1 week to the next.
Yeah, the people withdrawal. So Pete mentioned the gym, and, the gym alone downtown here at Beacon Health and Fitness.
Yeah.
Referral friends of ours are there. So other business owners, bankers, attorneys, and those are not just business contacts, those are friends of ours. So we went through people withdrawal.
And I know,
absolutely
not the only ones, being members of the Rotary Club. I think Rotary's had like 15, 16 virtual meetings, and the attendance is like, 70 to 80. Yeah. And generally you'll get 130, 40 people for lunch. So, and it's that human contact that is kind of missing. It's hard to chat somebody up, on a Zoom screen.
People have tried, done a good job trying, even after hours drinks on Zoom.
Oh
And
yeah, like happy hours and yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we've done
Those are
that.
great ideas. No, for sure.
Yeah.
So besides that, I mean, what do you see organizations doing when it comes to recruiting? And do you think what have you noticed in their world that's shifted because of the pandemic?
You know, maybe a heavier use of social media for sure.
Mm.
And the Zoom, obviously, you know, Skype, Google Meets. Geez, there was one. Trying to remember the name of it. We hadn't even heard of it, but it was. We have a client that is home based in Germany and Italy, and
oh yeah,
it's like Skylight or Firelight or something, and so
it's like a Zoom.
Yeah, they use that, and I think even Zoom wasn't ready for all this, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's amazing how stable that platform's been. We've used it a ton, and
We made one placement where just about the whole interview process with the client company and the candidate was on Zoom.
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
First time ever in my career.
yeah.
So
And,
do you see that trend staying, or what trends do you see maybe having a foothold in your world and maybe changing for good?
That is a good question. I think that some of this will remain because it has made us more efficient. You know, if we have a candidate that lives in Goshen and is employed, for us to try and meet up with that person takes a lot. You know, that person or us driving, and for a first meeting, and it goes for a company too. You know, you can utilize Zoom or Microsoft Teams to just have that introductory and get a good gut feeling on the person, and then maybe follow up with a live face-to-face meeting.
I think, Brian, a lot of people, myself included, found out that they can successfully work from home.
Me too.
I was shocked that our business even, went beyond where it was the first quarter of last year, the first quarter of this year. I would have told you that I was extremely concerned because, we are such face-to-face
Right.
people, and that, I mean, you and I think are closer in age than Mike and I are, but so, we're old fashioned sales guys, right? I mean, get out and see the people and belly button to belly button. And it's kind of weird that you can survive that way without that, that the face-to-face can go away for a bit and you can have success with Zoom and phone calls and keeping in touch on social media.
Key is communication. Pete and I talk throughout the day, morning, throughout the afternoon.
Yeah, here up in our offices, we're one office away from each other. And so it's a lot of, Siri probably gets sick of hearing and say, call Mike Niedbalski mobile on speaker.
Yeah, it's like when we were up here more, he'd just bang on the wall.
Yeah, right.
No, absolutely. What are HR people really looking for right now? What have you noticed? What positions are out there, and maybe what should job seekers, maybe if they were furloughed or something like that were to happen to them, what is out there for them, do you think, or what industries do you see the most growth in too?
People are in Michiana, people are still hard to find.
Yeah.
It's
at all levels.
Yeah, at all levels. The job market is still pretty good here. I think, in the RVs, RV industry is operating in a space where they almost don't belong. I mean, it's way beyond anything they've ever seen. And they've hoovered up so many people into so many positions, staff, lining the production lines all the way up into the front office to the key executives. And, one of these days that will spiral back down. And so I would say right now that, HR managers are really having a hard time finding the right fit for people.
Especially production level employees, which we don't get too involved with, but we have been told even just in the last couple of weeks by a few different HR folks and owners that it's so hard to find production workers.
Yeah, and then you throw on top all the COVID weirdness, that they had to deal with from March through April to May, and, shut down, don't shut down, and changing, putting up all the plexiglass and turning off the fountains and, making sure everybody's aware of that. That's put a huge,
it's been a strain on HR people.
Yeah, huge pressure on them. And then you add that fact that, people are hard to find. So the recruiting it's almost even harder than it was last year, which is hard to believe because it was pretty difficult last year. So
the other dynamic is people, and Pete and I see this more and more over the summer here, people are hesitant to quit their job. So we might have a juicy opportunity for a great candidate, but if they're employed, they're going to be more careful and risk adverse.
Yeah, uncertainty is a thing, and
We've had 3 offers turned down in the last month
Yep.
for this one
Wow.
job to fill
yeah,
because all the candidates are employed, and one of them specifically said, "Hey, I'm kind of concerned about how things will go."
No, I could definitely see that. You're right. Risk adverse and just that unknown piece of it, uncertainty. No, absolutely. So what I guess advice would you give job seekers out there right now that are trying to
make sure that you've got that your LinkedIn profile is just the best it can be. Flesh that thing out. Write your summary. Be as concise and as creative as you can. Send out and ask people for positive referrals and references that they can endorse you on there. Get as many as you can, and then turn around and use that to create the absolute best resume that you can. Today it's no more about the objective or seeking this or that. It's
Summary.
You need an executive summary that is like an elevator speech that gives your special sauce that's going to get some hiring managers' attention, because they go through 100 of them a day. So, if you got a crappy resume, it's just going to get pitched. They're not even going to, if you don't have the wherewithal to put that sort of effort into your resume, then they're not even going to look at it.
For folks who are actively looking, so to address your question, if people are in transition in between jobs and actively looking, I understand the concerns about the pandemic, but we're seeing more and more people wanting to get out to meet people for coffee and get to breakfast. And, the data and the numbers are showing that that's probably okay if you're healthy and you feel all right.
Yeah, we're both really respectful, man. We'll wear a mask, where it's required, and
sure,
but we're not going to be wearing a mask driving alone in our car,
So,
yeah. And it does kind of feel like we're sort of hitting the landing point of this thing. That I think we're going to, between vaccines and treatments and the things they're finding out about antibodies and stuff
and therapeutics.
Yeah. Into next year, I think we're going to be, I know both Mike and I have never really agreed with the term new normal. That suggests that it's going to be this way forever.
Yeah, we need to go back.
Yeah, it's just the normal for now. It's things that we have to do right now to mitigate the spread of this thing, protect the least among us, and get on with our lives.
And watch some football games and pack stadiums.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
Also,
absolutely.
Also, to Brian, on your question, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
For candidates who are looking, if you're going to have a Zoom interview or Microsoft Teams, don't do it on your iPhone grocery shopping. We had a candidate do that once.
Yeah.
You want to be at your desk and look.
He didn't get chosen.
Right.
No, that was my next question. Like, what have you noticed, or maybe what trends do you see with being on a Zoom interview or doing a Teams interview? Like, what advice again would you give to someone that maybe has not experienced that? They're more in the face-to-face realm, and now they have to do it just like we're doing our interview here. What advice do you have to someone that might be a little bit, I don't know, nervous is the right word, but a little bit just unexperienced when it comes to that?
Yeah, we've all gotten better at it, right?
We're all experts now.
We had one where a guy's wife must have just gotten up from a nap and came strolling through and said, what the hell are you doing? Why is that so damn loud? And I would have to say, prepare for that Zoom meeting, and people
put your pants on.
Yeah, make sure you have pants on, and if you can, stand up or sit in a bistro chair to keep your posture up, and and then just be yourself. I mean, you don't have to look at the camera right here, but look at the person there, and and just prepare for it though, and make sure that you're closed off. Wearing headphones actually makes the sound a lot clearer too.
Yeah, it does. Sure.
Speakers, yeah, and then be prepared, to hit the mute button if the dog, sees something or.
Oh, that can personalize it at the same time though. If you have a cute dog.
True enough.
Let him hop up in your lap.
Yeah. We were on one, and it was a Zoom sort of webinar.
Oh yeah.
And one of the
senator, right? State senator.
Yeah, and his kids were just like tearing the place apart.
It was a Barnes and Thornburg thing.
I would have said, hey, excuse me a second, and just went and said, hey, Daddy's working here. But he never did, man. They were bouncing off the walls, and so you want to obviously give the best impression that you can, and all those things still apply. Maybe a dress shirt, sport coat,
No
Yep.
tie.
Yeah, ties
Usually no tie.
ties are passe, but
Yeah.
And then prepare, do your research on the company too.
Mhm.
There's you can actually use your public library card if you live in St. Joseph County to access their it's a Mergent Intellect is what it's called. We use it, and you can get a company report off of that thing.
Mhm.
And it's free if you got a library card. So and then if not, then there is this thing called the interwebs where you can find out a lot about people and make sure that you understand who you're talking to and what their goals are, and do your best. Be
Yep.
yourself. That's the hardest thing.
That's
Right.
huge. No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Genuine.
Well, guys, how could someone get a hold of you guys if they're interested in working with you and looking for positions? How could someone like myself get a hold of you guys?
Yeah, Facebook, LinkedIn,
We're on the web.
yeah,
Our phone
IntegritasSearch.com.
Our phone number is 234-5854 in South Bend. And then we all have our cell phone numbers and our voicemails and our emails.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, call us anytime. Everybody doesn't know us, you do, but it's like we read a while ago a book called The Go Giver, and it's a great book. I would suggest that anybody that's in development or runs a business should read this book. And it's kind of our philosophy at Integritas that we're all here on this earth for a smile and a cup of coffee, and then it's over. And we kind of have a responsibility to help each other. And hey, we love getting paid. It helps pay our rent for our offices, and Mike's got a boat, I've got a camper, and but on the other side of it, we'll help anybody out just if we can.
Yeah.
Because that's karma too. I mean, there's people over the years that we've helped out with
back to us
no
sometimes.
no thought of remuneration, and boom, man, it comes back.
But Pete's
So
right. There's a mission aspect to what we do.
it does kind of feel that way.
So we do a lot that's pro bono, but we make good, at the end of each year, we make out good. So
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, hey, thank you so much for spending time with me. And I was excited to have you guys on and know you guys for a long time, and lots of respect, and appreciate you guys. And we'll hope to have you on soon and have you on again. Looking forward to it.
glad you're doing well, Brian. Yeah, it's good to talk to you again.
Yeah, good talking
Thanks,
to you.
guys.
Thank you.
Take care.